class number 4. It's called The Investigation of Chapter 5. Elements. Yeah, good. We are investigating the elements, the 5 elements this time, which includes now space. Good. Why do you okay, for spending too much money, let's make it a $20 question. Why do you think he chose space? Wait, raise your hand. If you want money, raise your hand. If you don't want money, just yell it out. Oh, Buddhist fight. No, he did. No, he. $10 each, okay? If it's correct.
I think it's because it is hardest to understand.
It's what?
Hardest to understand. Most difficult to understand.
Yeah. That's about $3.
And because if we can understand the emptiness of space, then we will be able to understand the emptiness of the space. Then we will realize that the space is unchanging. Is it something like that?
$12. You want to add anything? You guys can do it together.
And we need to understand the definition of space, and by that we can understand that space is empty as well.
It's okay. You guys are up to like 1995 or something. There's one more thing I want.
If we understand the emptiness of space, we then can understand the emptiness of other elements.
That's okay. Okay, anyway, I will give some money to myself. $2. Okay, 10 shopping. Where's shopping? I don't know. Okay, 10, yeah. Okay. Space is an object which is defined by the absence of something. You see? Space is an object which is normally defined by the absence of something. You see? So space has its own gakja. Okay, what's the gakja for space? What's missing in space? Physical stuff. Yeah, physical stuff. Now, have we talked about physical stuff recently? Last chapter, okay? It's a flow. If you can see the flow in Nagarjuna's wisdom, you're a very cool person, okay? Because otherwise it just seems like he's just different subjects for no reason, It doesn't seem like the chapters connected to the chapters, okay? If you can understand the flow of the chapters, then you really started to understand Nagarjuna, okay? So there's a flow to this, connection to the last chapter. Last chapter we talked about your physical body and all those molecules and atoms, okay? And now we're moving on to space, because the definition of space is the absence of concrete stuff, okay, right? And it's often used to describe emptiness, okay? Now, space is empty of something which really exists, which is physical stuff, like this unbelievably cool meditation sign, okay? After we become a famous resort, they will charge you $200 for this thing, but probably you can get one now for $5. 500 or 5? Let's say 10. I think it's very 非常棒. You should get one for your house. Teach your husband what it means, okay? It would take some explanation, okay? But you put it on your door when you're meditating, okay? And you hope somebody notices it. All right. Anyway, now, the space where this is in, okay, this is in space, right? This is occupying space. That space is still empty, okay? See, if the space wasn't empty, this would get pushed out. This would get pushed out. So there is empty space. And this, what are you going to call this thing? Meditation sign? Samto, home samto. Is occupying that space, okay? And that space doesn't have physical form in it, or else this would be pushed out, you see? So it's empty. It has a gotcha. That gotcha exists. It really exists, okay? But space is what gives things place to be, okay? Some people try to define space as the distance between the microphone and Geshe Michael's lips, okay? Some people say this is space. This is the element of space from here to here, okay? That's their definition of space. That's not Buddhist space, okay? Buddhist space means where's the thing sitting? Empty chair? And the thing sits there and then the thing leaves, but the chair stays, right? Empty chair stays. Got it? Okay, so it's very similar to emptiness, okay? So space is a very popular topic in Buddhism because there's a gotcha. There's something which is not there and allows other things to be there. Okay, got it? So, of course, Nagarjuna is moving on to space because it's the most difficult element, but it's also the most similar to emptiness. It's very similar to emptiness. There's a gotcha. There's something missing. Okay, got it? That's probably why he went on to space, okay? And a lot of meditations are called space-like, okay? Meaning you think about the emptiness of things, okay? Or you can space out during the meditation. Okay, all right. And I like to say, those of you who studied the four-space meditation, which is very, very helpful, we won't have time to do it this week. It's too much, but it's in the DCI level, I don't know, 7. You can do 4 kinds of space, all right? And very helpful idea, okay? What's the gotcha in the kitchen? Yeah, I didn't do anything, husband. I didn't do anything, husband, okay? Is he there? No, he's not there. He's impossible. Does it feel like he's there? Yeah, that's called ignorance. Okay, first link. Sugan can teach you, the Wheel of Life expert. I hope you will teach in Bali, the Wheel of Life. It would be nice, okay? It's going deeper and deeper. His book is going deeper and deeper. They make a good Wheel of Life team together. Okay. Okay, good. So, Arya Nagarjuna, in this chapter, 5th chapter, he's trying to prepare our mind for the idea of gotcha, okay? Something missing, okay? Something which is defined by something missing, okay? Got it? Where is the human computer? Oh, I gotta judge whether you can get this. Okay, $100, but it has to be perfect because you have to be perfect. Definition of space. Traditional definitions of space. Exact words. There's 4, by the way. If he doesn't do 4, I don't have to pay, right? Okay, if he does 5, if he does 3, if he does the wrong 4. I want the definition of space from Scripture. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, beep! Okay. Say Togrek, Kaktsam. Togrek, Kaktsam. It's definition of space. Togrek means stuff you can touch. Okay, stuff you can touch. A Sangha's name means Togme. He's called cannot touch. Do you know why? His Sangha means no talk. And they say because his wisdom cuts through things like a hot knife through butter. Okay, so a Sangha's name means, okay, like a very sharp knife, then just cut through the things, okay? His name is no talk, talkless. Talkless? Okay. Now, in the definition of space, togreg means anything you can block you, okay? Physical thing, okay? Gaktsam means simple absence. Simple absence. Just not there. Okay? Cannot stop. It cannot stop you. Okay? It's open. It's free. You can move into it. Okay? Got it? That's the definition of space. Say Togrek. Gaktsam. Rek means touch. Tok means to hit. Hit, touch, stop, just. Hit, touch, stop, just. Hit, touch, stop, just. It's the definition of space. Hit, touch, stop, just. It's the definition of space. Okay? I've been looking for a name for my band. I think that's gonna be pretty good. What did I say? Hit, touch, stop. Hit, touch, stop, just. I'm sure it's going to be popular. Maybe not. Okay. All right. Of course, I don't have a band because the guy had a baby. Okay. I hope you guys are doing well, Aaron and Nick. Okay. Okay. Now, then he gets in. So Togrek Gaktsam, right, is a phrase, right? It has words. Hit, touch, stop, just. Hit, touch, stop, just. Okay, that's the traditional definition of space. Okay, that's the traditional definition. By the way, I like to say empty space sometimes. I like to say empty space because it doesn't mean outer space. It doesn't mean the place where you fly long march rockets to the other side of the moon, okay? It's not that. It means the space right here, okay? So sometimes I like to call it empty space, okay? The definition is that, okay? And we started to talk about it yesterday, but Buddhism is very deep about the definition of definition, okay? The definition of definition. Because in Buddhism, and especially in Nagarjuna, we are very precise about our definitions, okay? If you're precise about your definitions, you'll have less fight with your husband, okay? If everything's clear, okay, totally clear. How do you define a trip to teach in the other country, in Romania? How do you define that? How many days exactly? Who's watching the kids? You know, who's going to pay for it? This is called the definition of a trip to Romania. Okay, so your life is easier if you define things clearly in your marriage and in your life, okay? So Buddhism is very big about definitions, okay? There's a definition of a definition, okay? I got it. I went and got it for you, okay? From Adam's text. Let me go get it for you. Sure. So we're going to talk about the definition of a definition. Okay. The definition of a definition. Say it. Zeya. Chusum Tangwa. Zeya. Chusum Tangwa. Okay. Zeya means substantial. Something, physical, real. Something substantial. Okay? Like table. Like how many days exactly in Romania and how much money exactly it's going to cost us. Exact. We want exact. Zeya means substantial. Ze means stuff. Ze is related to the word za, which means clay or ceramics in Buddhism. Okay, so it means as real as this cup, substantial. The word for substantial means clay or porcelain. Okay, za. The person in the second link of the wheel of life is a za guy. He's a potter. He's even called zaken, which means a zadur. Zaken means zadur. Za business person. Za means real, substantial, okay? Chusum Tsawa means what, Mr. Human Dictionary? I mean, come on, for free, okay? Chusum Tsang.
It completes those three qualities.
Yeah, three qualities have to be there for something to be a definition. Three qualities have to be there for something to be a definition. And those must be substantial, okay? Here we go. What are the three? I don't remember. Chir tseni yimba. Say chir tseni yimba. That thing is a definition, okay? So generally speaking, the three qualities, the three requirements of a definition. First, I mean, it has to sound like a definition, okay? Just in general, somebody has to say, this is the definition. It's a definition. It's a definition, okay? Probably it should have a few words in it that describe that thing, right? So it should sound like a definition, okay? The definition of a good lunch is anything Geshe Michael likes. Okay? All right. Secondly, ranki tsenshiten du tseme drupa. With a correct perception, a person can see that it applies to what you are defining. If hot and burning is the definition of fire, then the second requirement to be a good definition is that fire should have hot and burning, okay? So the pieces you use in the definition must apply to the thing you are defining, okay? So listen, is hot and burning a good definition of fire? Yes. Yeah. Is hot and burning and always frozen a good definition of fire? No, because the third thing doesn't fit the thing, okay? That's all. So first of all, it should sound like a definition. It should have parts, certain qualities, okay? That sounds like a definition, right? The definition of fire is hot, burning, and always frozen. Does it sound like a definition? It sounds like a definition. So chir tseni yimba. It's the first quality is there, but is the second quality there? No, because always frozen doesn't apply to fire, okay? So far, two of the three qualities of a definition. The definition of a definition, okay? The definition of a definition. Number one, it should be a list of qualities, okay? Now, you ready? Hot, burning, and always frozen. Is it a list of qualities? Yeah, it sounds like a definition. Number two, do all of the three qualities I just talked about apply to fire? No, okay? So senshi means the thing you're defining, also called sunja, okay? The thing you're defining them in logic. But you can just say the thing you are defining. What are we defining in chapter 5? Mainly space, okay? All right. Now, okay, Geshe-la, what's the third part of the definition? Rangni ki tsenja le chushen ki tseni michepa. It shouldn't fit as the definition of anything else. It shouldn't fit as the definition of anything else. The definition of a Toyota is any vehicle with 4 wheels, okay? The definition of a Toyota is any vehicle with 4 wheels. Good definition? No, because it fits other stuff. It fits Fords and Chevrolets and, Subarus. Okay, got it? So the definition should be that guy's definition and not other people's definition. It should be specific to that fire. Okay, got it? Cool? Now, Chusum Tawa, those 3 requirements of a definition, it should be a definition, the parts should fit the thing, and the definition shouldn't fit other stuff, like Fords and Chevrolets, and okay? Those 3 requirements, those are easy. Anybody can agree to those. But the first part of the definition was ze-ye. Ze-ye means substantial. So something about a definition must be substantial, okay? It's easier to understand what substantial means if we try to understand what's not substantial, okay? What's not substantial, okay? I don't know. Veronica always makes me enchiladas when she comes, unless Hasso makes his. I'm not hinting, okay? I'm just saying. I had a great chili relleno last night from certain person from Guadalajara. That was amazing. I was in chili relleno heaven for like an hour. So she'll say, well, I'll make you some enchiladas when I get there. And I'm like, yeah, please come to Diamond Mountain for your spiritual advancement. And she'll be here Friday. You'll see her on Friday, I think. But then sometimes she get busy. Her mother's not well right now. So maybe she has to stop in Phoenix. She cannot come, okay? Then that enchilada just became name only. Name only, okay? That enchilada is not going to fill up my stomach, okay? It's a name only. Maomba makewe chuchen, word, $35. I don't know why. Maomba makewe chuchen. Maomba makewe chuchen. Maomba? Good. It's 25, okay? I had to help him. Okay, Xiaoping, 25. The only purpose I teach at Diamond Mountain is so word can make money from me. Okay. Yeah, Maomba Makewe Chuchen means it's a cool idea in Buddhism. A future thing which will never happen. A future thing which will never happen. My enchilada, if Veronica's mom isn't well, okay, she will stop in Phoenix. I will never get the enchilada, okay? That enchilada is called takyu. Say takyu. Name only, okay? Is it called enchilada? Yes. Can you eat it? No, it's not zeya. It's not substantial. Got it? When she comes here, she has time, she makes a nice enchilada. I eat it, that's zeya. That's substantial. She talks about enchilada, her mom gets more sick, she has to stop and finish, she never gets here. Then it's a name-only enchilada, okay? And it's not gonna fill your stomach. Why are we talking about name-only? The definition of the thing you're defining is name-only. Enchilada, which will never happen. Got it? You should be confused. Are you confused? I hope you're confused, okay? The definition of something, to give a definition, is it's not real, it's not substantial, it's just an idea, it's just a picture, okay? It's a picture of an enchilada. You try to eat a picture of an enchilada, you're gonna finally lose your stomach. Understand? It doesn't have any calories. Okay, got it? So somehow, fire has to be name only. And the definition of fire is real, is substantial. Okay, zeya. Okay, then you have to understand that about Buddhist definition. Okay, now, in the West, in America, we talked about it the other day. Definitions are kind of like sentences, okay? The definition of a lousy boyfriend is he never puts his arm around you and when you want a hug, okay? That's the definition of a lousy boyfriend. And it seems like a sentence. It seems like a sentence. And sentences seem like words. But in Buddhism, it's the opposite. In Buddhism, it's the opposite, okay? The real thing is the hot touch and the burn your finger. That's the real thing. The definition is real. Then what's that definition of? Fire, Agni, what do you call it? Jar? Pajar? Pajar? Ladna? Balshoy. Ogun. Agun. Agun Balshoy Pajar. Okay, a big fire is called pajar in Russian, okay? So that's just the word. It didn't hurt you, right? When I said pajar, did you go, ah? No pajamas, Geshe. It's too hot in here already. Got it? The thing you're defining in Buddhism is just a word. Okay? Daya chusam tawa, daya chusam tawa. Okay? And the definition is substantial. Hot, burns your finger. Okay? Got it? Usually we think of definition as a sentence. And we think the definition is just words. But in Buddhism, it's the opposite. Okay? Which means, you ready? In Buddhism, the definition is the real hot and burning. And it's called lakshana. Say lakshana. Lakshana. So that's one of your Sanskrit words for this homework is lakshana. L-A-K-S-H-A-N-A. L-A-K-S-H-A-N-A. Okay? Lakshana. It comes from, laksha or lakshana has two meanings. Okay? Laksha or lakshana has two meanings. One is definition. Okay? One is a sign or an indication. A sign or an indication. Okay? How do you know your husband's upset? You get a lakshana on his face. Red color. Okay? Got it? The red color is a lakshana that he's upset. Okay? It's a sign. It's like a road sign. Husband upset. Red color. Okay? That's called lakshana. Okay? So it's interesting that the word for the sign on your husband's face that he's upset, red color, is the word for definition in Buddhism. Sign and definition are the same word in Buddhism. Sign and definition are the same word in Buddhism. Anything that has these two signs is hot and it burns your finger. That's fire. That's fire. In fact, the name for definition in Buddhism is signs. Okay? Signs of fire. Hot and burns your finger. Okay, got it? Now listen. If someone comes up to you and says, Geshe, you said pajar in the class. You said pajar. It took you like half an hour to remember the word from your college Russian, but you remembered. Pajar. You said pajar. Not pajar, pajar. Anyway. You said pajar in the class. Can you please tell me what is pajar? Okay? Now, at that moment, you think pajar is a thing, because these Russian people are all, yeah, pajar, that's right. So it must be a thing, okay? But at that moment, what does it look like in your mind if you don't know Russian? It's like a blob. To me, it looks like Jell-O. I don't know why. Undefined. Oh, my fly came to you. Maybe your caves are more interesting. Okay, now think about it. Think about it. When you're learning a new word, right? Somebody says pajar, and you're like, oh, all those Russian people in the room are going like that. So it must be something. It must be a thing in Russian. It must be a thing. What's your picture in your mind of that thing? To me, it's like Jell-O. It's like, I don't know, piece of Jell-O. It's going like this. It's clear. It's a thing, but I don't know what. It's just a thing, right? It's kind of, for me, before you define something, but I know it's already a thing, I don't know. It looks like, all I can say is Jell-O. Jell-O is a dessert. My mom used to give it to me because it's cheap, okay? We have 4 boys, no father. But it's like this. It's like a jellyfish, you know. It's like, so before you tell me what is pajar, you say, oh, Geshe, you have a pajar? Can I pick up a pajar at your house? I'm like, I know you're talking about something, but I don't know what you're talking about yet. Okay, got it? Then what happens? Geshe comes along and says, Sashing Sepa, hot and burning. Okay? Then suddenly the pajar got more real, You know, oh, yeah, fire, okay, fire, like on the stove or in a cigarette. Now, the mental picture changed, right? Before it was a clear piece of jello, boop, 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 boop. And then I said hot and burning, and then suddenly, oh, the mental picture became a fire somewhere, some fire in your life. Usually your stove or something, I don't know, okay? So the thing to be defined, pajar, was it substantial or was it just kind of just a name? Yeah, before I gave you the characteristics, before I gave you the substantial characteristics, okay? Therefore, the thing which you're defining is just a blob, right? And then I start giving you characteristics, substantial. It will burn your finger if you touch it. And as you get your hand closer, it starts to feel warmer and warmer. Oh, and then suddenly the mental picture becomes fire, okay? So now here's Nagarjuna's question. What time am I supposed to finish the class? 10:30? 9:30? 10:30. Okay, I guarantee you a pee-pee in the next 5 minutes, okay? What was I talking about? Oh, here's the big deal about chapter 5. Ready? Which came first, the fire or the definition? Which came both? That wasn't my question. Okay, Nagarjuna talking to the other guy. Which came first? Beautiful, but you're too early. Beautiful answer, but too early. Don't tell the joke until I'm ready. Okay. What? Who says the blob came first? Okay, the blob came first, right? Pajar, little blob. Then came the definition, right? Then you put the definition on the thing. If there's no blob, there's no place for the definition to go. Right? Right? No, it needs a place to go. A definition must rest on a thing. Right? Hot and burning must rest on, there has to be a pajar there. There has to be a blob there, right? The blob has to come first, right? Cannot? Yeah, you're right, because it cannot be hot and burning until the definition comes. Until the hot and burning comes, it's not a fire, right? How do you know a fire needs to be hot and burning? Oh, I saw a fire before. Oh, in that case, the thing you're defining came first, right? And then you decided, oh, I will make a definition of this thing, hot and burning. Why? Because you have observed a fire. You can't make a definition unless a fire is there already. And it cannot be a fire until it has a definition. Until it's hot and burning, it cannot be a fire, right? So it can be hot. So before it's hot, it can be a fire? Huh? But how can you have fire until you have hot and burning? How can you have a definition of fire until you have a hot and burning first? And then you give the definition to the thing. Which came first, the fire or the hot and burning? That's all I'm asking. Tell me, you can pee-pee. Which came first? Now tell us. Come on. Yeah, either one is wrong. Come on. We are studying Nagarjuna. He always tricks you. Which one came first? Hot and burning, and then the fire came? Or there was a fire and we decided the definition of fire should be hot and burning. Okay? Which came first? Okay, Mikkyen. Okay, I lied about the toilet. Okay? I'm sorry. Just a few more minutes. Okay. Mikkyen. Mikkyen is called, there are 4 factors in Buddhism, okay? 4 kinds of basic causes. DCI level 7. 5 causes, 4 factors. I'll teach it to you someday. Okay, but this is called Mikyen. Okay, Mikyen means the object which triggers a perception. The object which triggers a perception. Okay, look at the cup in my hand right now. Wait, keep looking. Ta-da! Then it triggered, I held it up first, and then it triggered a perception in your eyeball. Your eyeball, this rods and cones, some of them changed white, some of them kept red. Then you saw the thing. It triggered the perception in your mind. What chapter? It was a long time ago. Chapter 3, you know. Which came first, the eye or the cup? No, Mikyen. The cup triggered the eye person. The cup changed the cells in the eyes, right? The cup came first, right? Yeah, both choices are wrong. Okay, this is Nagarjuna's style. This is Nagarjuna's style. He wants you to go like that. Something weird here. I don't get it. He said fire come first, hot and burning come first. The eye was there in my head. Then Geshe pick up the cup, or did the cup wake up the eye? Was the eye already there? Or what's happening? What's going on? Okay, if you're not confused, you don't understand Nagarjuna. Okay, if you're not confused, you don't understand Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna want you to be confused. Right? Why? Where did fire come from? Where did the blue come from? Where did the eye come from? The cup and the eyeball came from one karmic seed. The cup and the eyeball came from someplace else. Don't ask me, did the eye come from the cup or did the cup come from the eye? Bad question. Bad question. They both came from karmic seed. Therefore, make coffee for other people. Okay, don't forget the therefore. Nagarjuna logic is not just to prove emptiness. Nagarjuna's logic is to help other people. Got it? If your logic doesn't reach helping other people, you're not studying emptiness. You didn't get it, okay? The final logic is therefore you must serve coffee to other people. Therefore, you must share your coffee with other people. Therefore, if there's people in the world who don't have food, you must share your food. Therefore, okay? There's always a Nagarjuna. Therefore, you must feed other people. You cannot ignore people in Africa. You cannot, okay? Because that's where the cup's coming from. Got it? It wasn't the eyeball first, or the cup was first, or the fire was first, or the burning was first. It's that other people need you. That's where the logic has to go. Otherwise, it's not emptiness. Got it? You are not some physicist pushing the switch and I hope the world doesn't blow up. Let's check. Okay, you got to think about the other people. Got it? That's Nagarjuna. Okay, take a break. Pee-pee. Yeah. Okay, yay. Hi. Okay. Just a few more minutes. I think 15 more minutes. Okay, here we go. So what the other guy is doing, right? Who is the other guy in these 3 chapters? He's an accountant. Good. He's like this boring Abhidharma guy. A nerd. Right? And he keeps bringing up basic Buddhist teachings, right? First chapter, Abhidharma Kosha. It's called the Chusum, the 3 topics, which are Pung, Kam, Keje, Sum. Say Pung, Kam, Keje, Sum. Yeah, we're talking about the parts of a person. We're talking about the 18 parts of reality. And we're talking about the sense organs, mainly, okay? These are the very famous topics of the first chapter of Abhidharma. This is the nerd's Bible, okay? This is their big book, okay? And in general, we know that the other guy said to Nagarjuna, look, these are teachings by Buddha. These are the first thing Buddha ever said. They must exist from their own side. They are real. Don't tell me they're not real. It's the first thing Buddha ever talked about. Buddha's not going to sit down and talk about something that's not there. I mean, that's crazy, okay? Especially the first talk, okay? These guys are going to Vancouver, right? You guys are going to Vancouver. And the CSP, Jinzi, those Jinzi CSP people, now they become real Jinzi. They're going to Vancouver to talk about their success stories, okay? Then, the first thing you say in Vancouver, you should look smart, dress nice, Then, if you want to lie the second time or lie the third time, but don't lie the first time, okay? You have to make a good impression. First one should be good. Buddha, first teaching, he just became Buddha. He waited 49 days before he taught. Then probably he was combing his hair and buying his suit, and I guess. And the very first thing he said, come on, that's going to be the best thing he has, okay? Because he wants everyone to see how smart he is. Same as Vancouver. The first thing you say, you have to say something great, right? In a new city, right? So the accountant in chapter 3, 4, 5, he says, look, this is the first thing Buddha said when he got up on the stage in Vancouver. And now the ninth trip, the 10th trip, maybe he run out of good things to say. Maybe he says something crazy, but not the first trip. He will say something good, right? He wants the people to come back. So don't say he said false things. And I'll tell you another thing. Each of the topics he talked about has a connection which is natural. Doesn't come from me, does not come from me, okay? Each of those three topics, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, they are talking about a connection which is natural. Nobody made it up, okay? It is not a creation of my mind, my seeds, okay? It's just nature. That's the way things are, okay? What was chapter 3? The eye sees stuff. Nobody made it that way. You can't have when you look at this ugly green drink, there's a connection between the eye and the green. Nobody made it, Nagarjuna. Come on. The eye's job is to look at colors. That's all. That's what the eye does. Colors are what the eye sees, and the eye's job is to see colors. Nobody made it. It's just that's the way things are. You can't have eyes without green. Well, you could have orange. Or brown. That's all. Come on, that's just natural. Geshe didn't wake up this morning and say, "Oh, I better make a connection between my coffee brown and my eye." It's just natural. Okay. Next chapter, chapter 4. What? Come on, go to the atoms. Go to the atoms. Yeah, every molecule has some element stuff, and every molecule has touchable, hearable, smellable things that come out of it. Come on, Nagarjuna. Nobody made that. Geshe didn't get up in the morning and say, I better get my atoms working, I got to get my fire atom working so I can have some hot coffee. Okay? Nobody made those things. No, those connections are natural. What's the third one? Chapter 5. Worse and worse. Lakshana. But what's the old meaning of Lakshana? Sign. Look, Nagarjuna, when you get up to have coffee in the morning, you don't have to glue the hot onto the fire. You don't have to go to the hot box and the burn box and take out something and then start the stove and put the hot and put the burn on the fire. The fire has it always. It's natural. Got it? You don't wake up and turn on the gas and then look around for the hot box, get some hot, we'll find the burn box, then put it on the gas, then it's fire. No, come on. It's automatic, okay? Got it? It's Lakshana. Okay? Because Lakshana has two meanings, right? Number one, definition that people make for fire. But there's a more intimate Lakshana. That hot belongs to fire. It's always connected to fire. The root for the word Lakshana that you're going to put on your homework is L-A-G, lug. Okay? And it means connected to, glued to. Okay? Lug means glued to. Got it? All right. What is that? There's a word, clay about, right? In Russian. Russian's always closer. It's glued on, okay? Right? Is that glue? Yeah, come from the same root, lug, okay? So, by the way, if you want to cognate, because you have to do your homework, you can say leech, okay? Leech. Leech is a special worm that lives in the old hot water, and when you step in the water, the leech will connect to. So the word leech means connector, who likes to connect themselves to your skin. And then it's difficult to get them off. It's difficult to take them, pull them off, okay? So the word leech means connector animal, okay, who connects to you, okay? What's the point? What are we talking about here? Lakshana can mean definition, but it can also mean sign. It's hot and burning. Geshe, they're glued to fire all the time, okay? They're glued to fire. Lug means glued to, okay? They're always glued to fire. Legion comes from that if you're interested. A group of people glued together to fight for the Roman Empire, okay? Lug, same root, okay? So look, nobody woke up in the morning and put the Lakshana on fire, to put the signs on the fire. It's always like that. It's always like that, okay? So the word Lakshana is supposed to make you feel self-existent, natural, okay? Nobody made it, forever. Fire has been hot. Nobody put hot on fire, okay? Who said that? You have to say it with the correct accent. Nobody put the heart on the fire. The fire is all, look. Okay, nobody. Okay, that's the other guy. The structure of Nagarjuna, it's an investigation, right? Who are we investigating in this chapter? Who are we investigating? Yeah, the accountant, the lug guy, the Lakshana guy. Oh, look, Lakshana, definition, sign, automatic. Nobody made the fire hot. Okay, got it? Okay. The definition of an aspirin, okay, ready? Is that it takes away your headache. Ask anybody in the world. Oh, what's an aspirin? Oh, well, you take it, your headache goes away. That's all. Taking away your headache is a Lakshana of aspirin, okay? It's a definition and it's part of it. It's what makes the aspirin aspirin. Lakshana makes the aspirin aspirin. Got it? Okay, Nagarjuna, chapter 3. You had problems with orange color and the eyeball. You said that connection's not automatic. Okay, they're kind of far away. Maybe you're right, okay? Then we went to physical body, The chemicals in your body didn't create your skin. Well, you're getting closer. I mean, you eat a youtiao, you get fat. I mean, there's some connection, okay? But if you don't like that one, how about next chapter? Let's talk about really tight connections, like fire and hot. Who could divide fire from hot? You know, who could say hot is not part of fire? Who could say hot is not part of fire? Got it? So he's talking about natural connections. Natural connections. Got it? Is an aspirin connected to taking away your headache? I'll say it again. Now listen, it's important. Is an aspirin connected to taking away your headache? No, half the aspirin you take don't work. Come on. You didn't notice? Nagarjuna's like, it didn't bug you? It didn't bother you when your mom said, do you remember that moment? I remember where I was. I remember exactly. I was in my brother's room because I was throwing up. And my mom said, here, take an aspirin. Then I'm like, 2 hours later, I'm like, Mom, it didn't work. She says, that's okay. Sometimes they don't work. I'm like, I should have asked her, what's the definition of aspirin? But I'm like, okay. You know, Mom is God, right? Mom is God. I'm like, okay, Mom. Okay, aspirins don't work sometimes, right? But fixing your headache is the lakshana of aspirin, okay? It's the definition of aspirin. It should have that. That connection is natural, okay? What's a sign that the lakshana of an aspirin is not natural? Sometimes it don't work. Sometimes you have aspirin which doesn't have that lakshana. Yeah, but Geshe-la, that's the definition of aspirin. Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't have it. Doesn't it feel weird to you? Don't you think it's coming from somewhere else? Maybe you have to do something else to make the aspirin work. Maybe you should help other people who have a headache. Get it? Who's talking? Nagarjuna. He's like, you didn't notice that the aspirins don't work sometimes? Where have you been the last 20, 50 years? Okay? Oh, it's a lakshana. It's the sign of an aspirin. It takes away your headache. Yeah, but sometimes it's not a lakshana. Lakshanas are not connected to their objects automatically, naturally, okay? Who connects them? Your good deeds. Nagarjuna always goes back to good deeds, okay? I'm going to stop there. We're out of time. But, you know, there's kind of fun. If we had time, the last thing Choni Lama ever does in each chapter, he goes to the sutra which supports it. And if we had time, that would be a really, like, dessert every chapter. We could have, like, youtiao or churro. Some people say I'm hinting for churro in the class. Maybe. No, then somebody said, Geshe-la, don't hint about churros in the class. Someone's going to miss the class and go to Wilcox and buy churros. I'm not asking. The class is more important, okay? But between classes. Just kidding. Okay, so in each chapter, Choni Lama ends the chapter by quoting a sutra, by showing you the sutra, okay? So I'll put it in the translation. I'm hoping to translate this immediately so I don't forget everything, okay? So in my free time, I'll try to give you a translation within a few months, okay? There's a big problem with the Sanskrit. The Sanskrit is available, but it's corrupt, and because it was handwritten. So there's a very great help from Beijing. There's a very good scholar who worked very hard to find the Sanskrit. So that's been very helpful. What's his name, Stanley? Shoyang? Shoyang. He's good. I don't know who he is, but he's good. You should thank him if you meet him, okay? And that I'm using his book. His Sanskrit is pretty good, okay? Not perfect, but it's okay. All right. Okay. We only have about 15 minutes. So I'd like to check if it's possible to confuse someone about Nagarjuna in only 10 minutes, okay? So that's my goal. this morning. We only have 15 minutes. So my special goal, is it possible to confuse somebody with Nagarjuna in only 10 minutes? Okay, let's try. Okay, you ready? Okay, here we go. Did you put on your seatbelt? Okay. All right. We're almost finished with the investigation of the elements. And we chose space first, okay? And a very cool thing happens at the end of the chapter. And if you're not mixed nut, what's a mixed nut? If you're not one of our translators, okay, in our special translator team, or Pure Gold, then you don't know about this thing. But at the end of the chapter, Nagarjuna says, I don't care which space you're talking about. They're both wrong, okay? At the end of the chapter, he says, I don't care what space you're talking about. They're both wrong, okay? Then if you don't know Buddhist philosophy, you won't understand what he's talking about. What he's talking about is the different idea of the element of space in the Abhidharma school and in the second school, the Sutra school, okay? The two low schools, low is a Stanley Bandhu's text, Abhidharma, first school. Low school means better than any of us, okay? Right? We know that, right? So first schools, they have a certain definition of space. And the second school has a slightly different explanation of space. Both of them don't understand emptiness, okay? In the way the highest school. What's the highest school? Middle way, okay? So we have to talk about what's the difference between these two kinds of space, all right? Then we can finish the chapter, and we can get more confused with the next chapter. Okay. By the way, the next chapter is called Desire and Attachment, an investigation of desire and attachment. But we have to finish the element chapter, okay? So there's two kinds of space in Buddhism. First one, Abhidharma. Now listen, space does something, like fire, like water, like wind, like earth, like carbon, like oxygen, okay? Like gravity. It does something, okay? It has a job. It does something. Anybody want to guess for $20? Okay. Tim. Wait, before you answer, just so I'm trying to help you make money. What function does space, what does space do? Lowest school.
It holds, it's the place where objects exist in, like it holds the space for them.
Yeah.
So it's either
you can say
occupied
that.
or unoccupied.
You can say that. Water makes things flow. Fire burns things. And space is like the guy at the restaurant, the maître d', right? The main waiter at the restaurant, who says, "Oh, I made a place for you. Look, I have a reservation. Here's these three chairs are for you guys." Space does that. Here's the orange juice. I need a place to stay. Where can I sit? Then space says, "Hey, look, I made a chair for you over here." Oh, okay. And then it goes there, okay? So space is like the guy in the restaurant who gets the other customer out after they give the tip, kick them out. And then it says, I have an empty chair for you. So you can, it's just for you. You can come here. You can be here, okay? So Abhidharma school says space has a function. Space does something. And it makes sense because the other four elements are famous for causing everything physical, okay? We talked about it in chapter 3, okay? The elements in your body the four elements have a job to create your eye, to create your ear, to create your nose, to create your body, okay? Got it? So it makes sense if there's a club with 4 people in it who all do something, then if there's a 5th member joins it, he has to do something, unless it's the ACI, or Diamond Mountain Board of Directors. Just kidding. If a new person joined the team, they have to do something, right? They have to do something. Okay, got it? So that's who said that? Abhidharma, good. The next school, Sutra school, say, no. Space has a job, but it's negative. It's negative, okay? It just doesn't stop people from going there. Got it? It doesn't stop people. It doesn't do anything, okay? You know, if you go to a nightclub, there's a bouncer, bouncer? Big, mean guy. If the people get drunk in a nightclub, he will kick them out, right? How I know about that? Just from the movies, okay? Somebody, have to kick somebody out of the chair. You see what I mean? That's not a function. They just don't make it available, okay? They don't help you. They just don't do anything to help you get a chair, okay? So they say space doesn't do anything. Space is not smart. Space doesn't think to do anything. Space is just an absence of anything, okay? Space is just an absence of anything, okay? Let's take this book, which you're gonna buy. Let's take this book, okay? So it's a physical object, okay? And space's job is just not to block it, okay? So space doesn't do anything. Second school. Space doesn't do anything. Space just absence of physical thing. This is space. Space is just the absence of physical. The space didn't do anything. You put the book in the space, you take the book out of the space just there, okay? Absence of physical thing. Okay, got it? $100. Now I see Noor's eyes go. Human Dictionary is trying to be cool. He's like, this is a difficult one. How does Nagarjuna? Now, the first space, okay, we talked about it, right? Abhidharma space does something, right? We beat it already, and I'll give that one to you for free. With definitions and what is getting the definition, the timing of the definition. Which came first? The space to be defined or the definition of space? We finished that, okay? That's how we beat the Abhidharma guys. For $100, how do we beat the second group guys? And then we can go to the next chapter. How do we beat the second group guys? $100. No. Huh?
It's an existing thing.
Wait, you only get one guess, human computer. Yeah, it is a cessation, but that's not the answer.
If there's something physical in the space is still there.
Not the real answer yet. Huh. What's the question? How do we beat the second Abhidharma? How do we beat the Sautrantika idea of space? Their idea of space, I will repeat. Space is the absence of a physical object. Okay. How do we beat them? And it's difficult. It's very similar to the argument about the eye and the object of the eye. It's very similar.
If the space means the absence of the book, then if the absence of the book comes later. The space is already there. You
That's
don't need the absence of
very
the book.
sophisticated and wrong. Okay, I'm going to tell you.
Wait.
And it's very simple, because then I have to sell you the book. I'm tricking you. Look at the book. Look at the book. Focus on the book. Okay, if the book doesn't come from its own side, if the book doesn't come from its own side, then the absence of the book cannot come from its own side. Because if it does, they can't have a relationship. We talked about that already. We already talked about that, but you forgot. Okay, we're at the end of chapter 5. What was chapter 5 about? Huh? Yeah, the elements, right? We were talking about space, right? Then at the end of the chapter, you can guess what he's going to say. What can you guess? For $0, yay! Give the money to a few. Huh? What's the last thing he's going to say? Come on. Aldo?
It doesn't matter which space we're talking about. They're
That's
both
the
wrong.
next to the last thing. But it's a good guess. Somebody was listening in class yesterday. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Allison, shopping, $0. Please, perfect. Okay. Yeah, it's the same for the other elements, okay? Now, something interesting. That part in Chonin Lama's commentary is missing. Okay? Someone made a mistake when they carved it. So we have to find other copies, all right? Who's doing that? Word, I guess. Okay? Word, talk to Ben Kramer. Okay? Where is he? Human. Yeah, there's a problem. There's a big problem with the carving. Something's missing in the carving. There's missing that part, okay? You find it. We found part of it in Russia. We found part of it in Beijing. We found part of it in West China. So, but we're still missing some pieces, okay? So we have to find it, all right? We have to try to find it, okay? More copies. JB, Mongolia. Find one in Mongolia. All right. And French fries. Okay. Yeah, it's very interesting that it's missing. Something's missing. Couple lines are missing. Now, in that commentary, and you're going to learn as you become a translator, if you become a translator, then somebody later put Nagarjuna's verses into his commentary, Chonin Lama's commentary, okay? And they made mistakes. Okay, they made some mistakes, and it's kind of irritating, okay? That's another, it's like this. They put in the wrong lines, okay? And little bit different translation. They used a different translation. So in ancient times, like in Xuanzang's times, 5 people tried to do the translation, and then one became popular, okay? Usually the best one became popular, but not always, okay? It's just like English translations are. So somebody put Nagarjuna's poem into the commentary in the right place, but they used a different translation. And that's one of the translations that did not survive. Okay, so the one translation was carved 500 years ago, 600 years ago, and the rest of them died. They disappeared because the carved one became very popular. But sometimes the carved one's not the best one, and we have different ones. Or sometimes one piece of the carved one is good and one piece of the old one is good. So that's the case here. So it's a lot of extra work for Geshe Michael, okay? And I have to compare the Sanskrit. There are 5 or 6 Sanskrit versions. And then I have to check the guy who put it into the commentary and We know it was somebody later because it doesn't fit. You can tell Choni Lama's using a different translation. Okay, so these are problems for me, for my life, okay? You don't care. All right, anyway. You just want the, okay. Yeah. Didn't she make my life more miserable? Okay. Yeah, so there's a part missing. There's what Aldo said is correct. There's a little part missing about, first he talked about how the 4 elements, right, cannot cause your physical body, your eye, your ear, your nose. And then he talked about space, which in the second school is a unchanging thing, unproduced thing, absence of something. Absence of something. I had many moments in my classes with my teacher. So, 30 years, I'm sitting with another guy. His Tibetan's a little bit better than mine. And his Sanskrit is 1,000 times better than mine. I hate him. I still hate him, but I don't. I try not to talk about it. But he kept giving the best answers in class. I hate it. And then one day he interrupted the Lama. I'm like, yeah, see, he interrupted the Lama. And he said, I just thought of something. And Rinpoche said, what? And he said, all unchanging things are negatives, absences. All unchanging things are the absence of something. And Rinpoche goes, you know what? You're right. And then I was super jealous, Still super jealous, but I try to look nice, okay? If you get a chance to study with him sometime, his name is Art Engel. I hate to say his name even, but okay. But he doesn't teach much, but he's a good teacher in New York, if you're in New York area, okay? All right. So anyway, we covered the emptiness of changing things, okay? Like fire, water, earth, okay? In those molecules, right? And the molecules are making up physical stuff, and that's definitely a changing thing because my hair is falling out. Got it? Changing, okay? Wrinkles coming, In Arizona, we get these spots. Then, so that's changing. And then space, according to the second school, is just the absence of something. So that's unchanging, okay? It doesn't change. Why? $100 question. Nope. Okay. Okay, I'll say it again. Space in the second school is defined as the absence of physical stuff. Now, why is it true? It can never change. Janice, if you're wrong, you pay me $95.
Okay, it's worth the risk.
Just kidding.
It's because its emptiness doesn't change. It's either 100% empty or it's not empty. It's empty.
Yeah, good. You're on the right track. I'll give you 75.
Okay.
Okay. If it changed a little, if the absence of change a little bit, then a little bit of stuff, the clock will show up. Boop. Got it? Is there an elephant in this room? Is that changing or unchanging? Yeah, if it changed, then elephant's nose will appear here. You see, 1% change. I'll say it again. Is there an elephant in this room? Is it changing or unchanging? Can it vary like this? Can it get more or less? No, because if it changed 1%, you'll have 1% of elephant appear in the room. You see, it's impossible, right? So absences are always 100% absences. Then, of course, the 7-year-old monk in the monastery, oh, Kujola. Kujola means, oh, sir, yes, sir, I have a question. What if the elephant stick his nose in the room, but his body's out of the room? then it's not emptiness anymore. You're like, yeah, okay. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking, okay, got it? Emptiness of the elephant in this room is unchanging. Why? If it changes 1%, the elephant's nose will appear here. Because 1% of the elephant will appear here. Okay, got it? You okay? Yeah. It's a $75 answer to a $100 question. Okay. Then the guy, and this is part of the missing page in the carving, okay? It should be there. It'd be fun to write it if we can't find it. The missing page should say, the other guy says, what about things that are in between? What about things that are in between, okay? Changing things and unchanging things, and then imaginary things, okay? Which are not really things, okay? Can you imagine a pink elephant in the room? Is it changing or unchanging? The pink elephant, Right. So it's just, but does it have more existence than not thinking about? Does the pink elephant in your mind have more existence than the pink elephant had 5 minutes ago? But you're thinking about pink elephants and you weren't thinking about pink elephants, so there must be some difference.
Say that again?
Or are you thinking about pink elephants all the time? You're not thinking about pink elephant. What are you talking about? Of course there's a pink elephant. It's just imagine. We call it imaginary, okay? It's not real. You can't say changing or unchanging. So the guy tries to come and, okay, you ready? Before we move on to chapter 6, okay, and we leave the accountants behind, okay, before we move on to chapter 6, got it? Then one more guy comes and he says, okay, your chapter 3, chapter 4, you're talking about elements, I understand, changing thing. Now, chapter 5, you talk about space, unchanging thing. But I think there's a real nature to imaginary things. Okay? Okay? That's a what? The idea in your mind is an unchanging thought. Yeah. Changing thought. You can say that. But I'm talking about the elephant, not the thought about the elephant. Okay? Imaginary elephant. Okay. Can he carry teak trees or something? No. Okay. All right? Okay. And then they argue about that. There's no commentary. It's missing. Okay? You'll have to wait. Somebody will have to write it. Okay. Okay, now, last thing, all right? At the end of many chapters, Nagarjuna insults the other people. Okay, not really, because he's Buddhist. He doesn't really insult them, but he makes a kind of a, just before he says goodbye, in the chapter, he will say something like, okay? So here's his haha, okay? Astitvam yetu pashanti, nastitvam chalpa buddhaya, bhavanam te na pashanti, drashtav pashamang shivam. And he says, the Tibetan is Lo Chung Kanda Ngunam La, Yopani da Meni Du, Tawa Deni Tawa Cha Nyewa Shiwa Shimitong. Lo Chung, okay, I gave you the Sanskrit on your homework. Everybody's like, what? Say Alpa, Buddhi. Alpa, Buddhi. Alpa means tiny, tiny, little tiny, like kiri, like kari. Changuito? Changuito poco? Poco. Chiquito? Changuito chiquito. Okay. I'm going to forget that one. Okay. So alpa means small. Alpa means small in Sanskrit. But we're more interested, the one you have to know is buddhi. Say buddhi. Okay, you know Buddha means Buddha, right? The root, Bud, means to understand. Okay, B-U-D-H, root, means to understand. So Buddha means the person who understands everything, knows everything, okay? And the word that Nagarjuna used here is alpa buddhi. So buddhi, not Buddha, okay? Buddhi means mind, your mind, okay? There are many words in Sanskrit for mind, okay? One is buddhi, okay? Then he says, you guys who are alpa buddhi, mini intellect, mini brain, okay? He calls them mini brains. Hey, mini brain, okay? It's kind of funny in Sanskrit. You can learn all these special insults from the ancient books. Hey, alpa buddhi. Hey, mini brain. Okay, got it? Mini brain. What makes your mini brain? Astitvam to pashanti, astitvam. You think things exist. You think things have to exist or don't exist. You think, you mini brains, alpa buddhi guys, you think things have to exist or not exist. You don't know how to stay in the middle, okay? You think everything should exist or else it cannot exist. And you cannot find the middle way. And you're a mini brain driving a minivan and you are crashing everywhere. You know, you are unhappy. You have an unhappy life. You are crashing everywhere. Okay, got it? Mini brain. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. What's it mean for $100? I keep trying to give away $100. You can't answer twice in the same morning, okay? New rule, okay, word? Just whisper to her and she can answer. Okay, now, I want to know if somebody says, come on, Geshe, if something doesn't exist, the only other choice is, if something is not existing, the only other choice is that it's not existing, okay? What does it mean you crashed your minivan into existing or not existing and you lost the middle way, okay? I don't know, who's Afir's collecting money. Maybe he's gonna donate it, I don't know.
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
So if you say things that are existing and you crash into the existing thinking, it means you are thinking that things exist by themselves on their own side.
$50.
And if we say you crash into the other side, you say they don't exist at all. They don't have any existence.
120.
Thank you. It will go to Evam, so.
Wait, take it to the kitchen. Go for 140. Take it to the kitchen.
The kitchen will be the husband. You see the husband, he's yelling, but he's yelling because you see him yelling and he doesn't.
Wait, which is the exist and which is the don't exist?
Okay.
Both are wrong.
Exist would be like the husband is there, is yelling by his own self. I didn't do nothing.
Good. I didn't do anything. You gotta say it with passion.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, you didn't do anything.
And not exist will be that I'm imagining the husband there and there's no one yelling at me.
Yeah. Be calm. There's no husband. Be calm. There's no husband. Okay. Does it help? No. Okay. 120. He gave 120 answer. What did I say? 120, 140, 40, 140. Okay. All right. Good answer. So if you are alpa buddhi, a mini brain person, you think things have to exist or not exist. He is closing the 5th chapter, okay? He is closing the 5th chapter with his middle finger. I mean, something like that, okay? He's like, okay, excuse me, but that's my nature. Okay, now the last line of the 5th chapter is very cute. Tawa teni tachawa never shiwa shimitong. Anybody who looks at things that way will never see nirvana. Okay? Anyone who looks at things that way will never see nirvana. Okay? He's playing all the way back to the 3rd chapter. Because in the 3rd chapter we discussed looking with your eye, right? So he's kind of closing his accountant section, 3 chapters. His last word to the accountants is, hey, mini brain, don't think the husband in the kitchen exists the way you thought. And don't say, oh, he doesn't exist. There's no husband in the kitchen. Don't make those 2 mistakes. Keep to the middle way, okay? Then he says, if you keep looking at the husband the way you look at the husband, oh, he's angry because he had a bad day, he's hungry, he had a long drive, if you keep blaming these wrong reasons, right? Then you will never, if you keep looking that way, you will never see nirvana. Okay, got it? What is the definition of nirvana for, I don't know, we got some money, honey. I'll just give away a little more, okay? We'll still have enough to get home. $30.
It's the
What's
permanent
nirvana?
cessation of mental afflictions in personal analysis.
Nice. Okay. What's it? How do you say it in Tibetan? Go ahead. Tango. Yeah. She gets $30, by the way, shopping. Okay. Austria. Welcome, Austria. Nice to see you. Okay. You Austrians have to come to the program in Berlin because I can't do 2 in Vienna and Berlin because it's too much for me because I have to go to Surabaya. You can blame Sugang, okay? But I figure you're so close to each other, and so I cheated the Austrians. I told them to go to Germany. Okay, understand? So fight with them, don't fight with me. Okay. All right. If you keep looking at things that way, you will never see nirvana. Okay, that's his final thing. But the looking is a joke because the 3rd chapter, the beginning of the fight with the accountants, was talking about looking. And now he's closing up the accounting chapters, 3, 4, and 5, okay? And then he says you will never see nirvana. And the definition of nirvana is if you understand that the accountants are wrong, you can stop your negative emotions forever, okay? If you understand the accountants are wrong, you can stop your negative emotions forever, okay? And if you keep looking at things, if you keep in the kitchen, if you keep thinking the husband's coming from the husband, you will never see nirvana, okay? You will never see nirvana. And nirvana's definition is you lose your desire, you lose your hatred, right? You lose your desire, you lose your hatred. Guess what's the next chapter? Let's investigate desire, okay? Is that a cool way to segue to the next chapter? Got it? So at the end of chapter 5, it's like, okay, you accountants, I'm done with you. But I'll just tell you one more thing. If you keep looking in the kitchen at your husband the way you've been looking at your husband in the kitchen, then you will never see nirvana. Then he goes to the next chapter. What's the next chapter? Investigate desire. Investigate desire, okay?